Beneath the ocean's twilight zone, a specific depth exists where immense pressure distorts sound waves. In this crushing darkness, silence and stillness are supposed to prevail. Picture a scenario drawn from countless reports. It's October 14th, and the quiet is shattered. At 3:42 a.m., the lead sonar technician, a seasoned veteran of 3 decades in submarine tracking and fault line mapping, gazed at his monitor. He saw no chaotic, organic spread of the ocean floor, no shipwreck. Instead, he observed precise geometry, perfect right angles, extending for 2 miles across the abyssal plain. He witnessed a monolith, the size of an urban block, rising against the current, an engineering marvel impossibly situated in the world's depths. For 45 minutes, the crew watched in awe, recording terabytes of data and celebrating with champagne, convinced they had unearthed humanity's greatest discovery. By 4:30 a.m., their satellite communication system failed. At 5 a.m., a priority hail on Channel 16 came from a naval strike group not authorized for their sector. Before sunrise, their hard drives were confiscated, and they were presented with non-disclosure agreements substantial enough to silence any lawyer, explicitly informed that their observation never occurred. This is the stark reality of the deep ocean. We possess more knowledge about Mars's surface than our own sea floor. Today, we confront a dangerous inquiry. Is this lack of knowledge accidental or deliberately enforced? The cliché that space is the final frontier is often heard. Yet space is transparent. Anyone with a telescope can observe it. The ocean, however, is opaque, an ultimate veil. For decades, maritime communities have whispered rumours. Any veteran sonar operator, after a few drinks, will recount tales of fast movers, contacts travelling at 300 knots underwater, or the bloop, monumental organic sounds no known whale could produce. Yet, the most persistent rumours concern not what moves, but what lies immobile. We have glimpsed this hidden reality before. In 1987, a Japanese dive tour operator discovered the Yonaguni Monument off Okinawa's coast. Massive sandstone terraces with sharp edges and what appear to be carved staircases. Mainstream geology strives to classify it as a natural formation, but its undeniable symmetry evokes a primal doubt in any observer. In 2011, Swedish oceanographers searching for shipwrecks in the Baltic Sea found a 200-foot circular object resting on a pillar. It seems strangely industrial, as if the Millennium Falcon had crashed onto the seabed, with electronic equipment failing when approached too closely. These are the anomalies that have slipped through the cracks, permitted for public knowledge because they are just ambiguous enough for skeptics to dismiss. But what happens when something undeniably, terrifyingly artificial is discovered? Something so massive it cannot be explained away as peculiar geology. That is when the curtain falls and classification protocols begin. To grasp this process, we must reconstruct an event from leaked reports and whistleblower accounts. While specific details are often sanitized and locations altered, the underlying pattern remains constant. Let's revisit the survey vessel mentioned earlier, which we'll call the Oceanic Explorer. Their ostensible mission involved the prosaic task of mapping mineral deposits along the mid-Atlantic ridge, a region known for volcanic activity. They utilized advanced multi-beam side-scan sonar, towing a sensor sled merely a few hundred feet above the sea floor, at an approximate depth of 12,000 feet. At such depths, detection relies on sound, not light. The sonar produced a strip-by-strip image of the seabed, typically revealing chaotic mud, volcanic fissures, and rock slides. The first anomaly was its utter smoothness. The sonar readout abruptly shifted from rugged terrain to a perfectly flat, seamless stone plaza extending into the darkness. The survey director, Dr. Aris Thorne, a pseudonym, instructed the ship to reduce speed and turn back. They deployed an ROV, a remotely operated vehicle equipped with high-definition cameras and floodlights. It took 2 hours for the ROV to descend through the crushing darkness. When its lights finally activated, the control room on the surface fell silent. The ROV was not hovering over mud. It was suspended above polished obsidian. As they maneuvered the drone forward, the sheer scale of the structure became terrifyingly evident. It was not merely a flat area. It was the roof of something. They located its edge, which plunged into a perfect 90-degree vertical wall, disappearing into the sediment. The wall was smooth, impervious to the marine growth that encrusts everything else at that depth, an unnatural perfection in a world of biological chaos. Dr. Thorne estimated the visible portion of the structure to be roughly the size of the Pentagon. Sonar suggested it was hollow, and perhaps most unsettling, the area around the structure was devoid of life. No deep-sea cucumbers, no rat-tail fish, just a sterile, silent monument. They were observing something that predated known history, constructed with technology surpassing modern engineering, situated in Earth's most hostile environment. They had 4 hours of unadulterated discovery, joking about Atlantis and speculating about secret Cold War bases, ecstatic scientists. Then, the outside world intervened. The response was immediate. First, the ship's satellite internet was severed, isolating the crew. Hours later, a Navy destroyer appeared on the horizon, and individuals in plain flight suits boarded the vessel. No negotiations ensued. They confiscated hard drives, erased local servers, and distributed stringent non-disclosure agreements. The crew was informed that the coordinates were now classified for national security. By sunset, the data was gone, and the discovery had officially never occurred. This is the standard operating procedure, termed the containment protocol. When a civilian sensor detects something it shouldn't, the curtain descends instantly. Why such secrecy? Intelligence analysts point to 3 alarming possibilities. The structure could be a forgotten nuclear silo, or a deep-sea listening post from the Soviet era, abandoned, radioactive, and politically volatile. The government conceals it not for its alien origin, but because it is a weapon. 12,000 years ago, sea levels were 400 feet lower. This structure might be the remnant of a pre-Ice Age civilization, proving human history is far older than acknowledged. Confirming this would necessitate rewriting every history book and destabilizing established science. The Navy has conceded that UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, are real. Pilots report these craft diving into the water at impossible speeds. Logic suggests they must have a destination, a hangar, a base in the abyss, concealed by the ultimate camouflage, the ocean itself. The ocean is more than just water. It is a layered reality. We are permitted to view the surface, but the depths belong to others. While the tale of the oceanic explorer is a dramatic reconstruction, anomalies like the Yonaguni Monument and the Baltic Sea object are undeniable facts. The seafloor represents Earth's last great library, and someone has locked its doors. We are left with one haunting question. Are they safeguarding us from the hidden things that lurk in the depths?